limited to limitless is something which we all feel. We all feel limited. We all feel constricted. We all feel that we are stuck in something and it's like a mold. And one day we crack it open and we become limitless. Well, today on our journey of limited to limitless, I've got a guest who you would have seen on billboards, on TV shows, on ads, someone who's constantly known as the number one listing agent, who's been a role model for a lot of real estate agents who have come in or who are coming in, budding in the industry. Well, I'm talking about none other than that one name which has made history for a lot of people in New Zealand, especially the migrants. And I would want to not talk about much, but I want to say the name and I'll introduce you to that name. The name is Aman Gulia. Have you heard that name? Well, I have seen that name, I've heard that name, and it rings in my head that who is this phenomenon? So I thought, okay, let's call him, let's have a chat with him and ask him himself. So Aman, who is Aman Gulia?
Thank you so much for the intro. That was very kind. I feel I wouldn't have said better words. Who is Aman Gulia? It's really, really hard because last few years I've changed as a person. So it's hard to explain who. Like I'm going through this journey of real estate. I come from a small town in a small village in India. Came here, did a lot of stuff, and I've got no talents. I've got no skills. So it was really, really hard. And then I met someone. We bought a property, only to figure out that I think I want to subdivide it, but I knew nothing about subdivision. So I thought, why don't we go to internet, search for subdivision process, and in that process I found out that you can actually do a real estate course, right? So I did the real estate course only to figure out that there's nothing you learn about subdivision in that process, right? So back to 0-1. Anyways, I ended up subdividing that property over the years. But then obviously when you do a real estate course, people start calling you to become a salesperson. I did the course. I was employed by someone. Once I was employed, I started selling. I started selling apartments. Now I wasn't very good at it. So I thought, this is not for me. Let's start doing other things. I've started a construction company. I did some odd jobs. I became an extra in a TV show and did odd jobs, right? Then I involved myself in a restaurant, which was very unsuccessful as well. Then COVID hit and I was just disappointed in myself. Again, don't know what to do, right? And I think a lot of people come to that stage in their life and you've only got two options. Either you actually just pick yourself up and do something about it, or you just keep going down that hole, right? I picked myself up. I went to top agents, spoke to them what you need to do. I found a mentor for myself and then just built a plan. Now, once I did that, the plan really eventuated very, very well and I start to see success. Obviously, once you start to see success, you build a lot more motivation, right? And then motivation, discipline, success, and one thing after another. And here I am. So that's my journey in short.
So Aman, when I started the interview, I introduced the limited to limitless. That question normally comes out later for me. But listening to you about your journey, it intrigues me to ask that, you've been very modest in saying that you have no skills. Well, I've never heard a rich lister saying that, right? First of all. But that's very modest of you. And sometimes we all want to learn from somebody else's skill. Sometimes that person on the TV or someone who's on the billboard or someone driving something, we feel that is success, right? But you've been through all this journey. You've been through restaurant, buying a subdivision, doing courses, struggle as a student, did odd jobs. You've done all of that.
Yeah.
Right? What was your moment which changed it for you? Where you went inside your head, or that limited moment that you felt like nothing is happening. What should I do? What was that moment, and how did you come out of that and say, now I don't care, I'm just going to go all guns blazing? What was limiting you?
I think it comes from when you go down really, really hard. You've spent so much money, effort into something, and that becomes unsuccessful. That was for me. I was at the very bottom where I just had no choice, right? When you reach that point, as I said, either you just keep going down that rabbit hole, or you just have to do something about it. And for me, I was at the very bottom. I just had no choice. And that's the day when I decided I need to do something about it. And it started with obviously going to gym and making those phone calls, finding the right people. Success in real estate, or success in anything is basically surrounding yourself with the right people, right? These people will not only make your work easy, they will support you at your bad times, and it will make everything enjoyable, right? So supporting yourself with a network of individuals who are actually helping you achieve any goal is very important in any business.
So when I was a kid, and we all have been talked about, we all have heard about it, read about it, and now you're saying the same thing. First of all, surrounding yourself with the right people. What is the difference between right people and wrong people? What is right?
So over the years, what I've learned is people don't put as much effort in finding the right mentor. It's very important. And a lot of people just don't ask. Right? I did an interview, and that would have been 2 years ago. And it was with Tom Panos. I've had over 120, 130 real estate agents message, call, or email me 7 days, 10 days following that interview. I replied to every single one of them, right? But they asked for things, I replied. I'll give you an even better example. I said to Tom Panos, hey, I'm going to Gold Coast for a project to look at. Who do you think I should meet? Who's a real estate agent that I should? And he gave me a name, Michael Koloshi. Now, I went to Gold Coast. Before I went, I asked my peer to email him. Now, the guy, Michael Koloshi, came to my hotel. We had a coffee, we had a chat, 40 minutes, he left. Now, that just gave me such a humble pill. Since that day, I'm a little bit of a changed person. This guy does $55 million in commission, over $50 million in commission. No Ray White, Harcourts, Barfoot, or any company does those sort of commission. He came, he took the time from his busy schedule, come meet someone who he didn't even know, right? So there are good people around. You just have to find them. Going back to your question in terms of finding the right people who have the same goals as you, right? People who don't just want something from you, but just want to see you achieve, right? And there are people who are successful who would help you as long as you put enough effort. Because people like those, they're not going to come to you and try to make you successful. You go halfway, they'll come halfway, and that's how it should be.
That's brilliant, because see, the book I was mentioning about, or Peter Drucker, he's mentioned somewhere that when Napoleon Hill and Dale Carnegie, all these people have mentioned that you should surround yourself with the top 5 people, rub shoulders with them. But you added one more thing to it today, that yes, that's important, but it's also that a humbling experience by getting attached to humble people who are seriously interested in your and their success together. Right? It's not about that guy who's doing 55 million worth in commission comes and meets you. It also shows his capacity as a human being, and his will, and his humbleness and grounded personality, where he could come and meet you.
He had nothing to gain. Yeah. He had nothing to gain from that meeting. Yeah. That's what I thought. But I had everything to gain from it. For him to make that effort just showed me that there are good people around, and you need to be one of them, right?
Exactly. And that's so powerful. Well, I'll move to my next question. I talked about, you've been cast in a Rich Lister show in New Zealand, and you were the only Indian origin guy who was there. And it's not that everybody can be on there, right? You were there. First of all, how was the experience? Did you enjoy? And what was the learning you got from there? What would you like to, tell our audience who will watch this interview? That what was Aman Gulia's learning? What did he feel there when he was on that show? And do you think being on that show is the only mark of success? And what is success for you in that way?
See, when we were raised and when we were kids, talents and skill were singing, dancing, Bollywood. That's all were talents
We all
to
have
us,
the same.
right?
Exactly.
Right? And I'm a really bad singer. My PA is an amazing Broadway singer, right? She says I'm the worst she's ever heard, right? So that comes to my
Maybe she has to hear me. I'm the worst of the lot. Because if I have to sing, people will run away. I tried once. I tried doing I tried to singing here in New Zealand. So, carry on, sorry.
And dancing the same thing, so not that great. Anyways, so back to your question, Rich Listers. But I always, like being an Indian, you're always fascinated by TV shows, movies, right? So I always wanted to do it. I don't want to drift away from the question, but I really want to say this. Like, this was always one of my goals, to do a TV show. And I just want to say one thing before I drift from the questions, is law of attraction, the secret, anything you call it, the power of positive thinking. I've lived that all my life, right? TV show, properties, investment, development, number one, amazing supercars, all of it. I've just thought about it, I've worked on it, and I've got it. Step by step by step, right? So TV show was one of them as well. Anyways, what happened was, when I did the TV show, I am not that great in front of camera. So even when I do property videos, there are some people who could just make stuff off the cuff like this, and they can say stuff. I'm not that. I have to practice something probably 20 times to say it in front of camera. So same thing happened when they put me in front of TV shows. You've got camera here, camera up there, camera there, everything. And they said, okay, go ahead. Since it's a reality show, right, you have to do things just straight away. So I was really, really bad. So first episode, I was pretty bad. Second, I got better. Third, fourth, fifth, fifth. Luckily, I had my PA with me, so she was good. She has done this before, so she helped me. So the experience was amazing. I'll do it any day, right? It was fun. It was learning curve for me, and something I always wanted to do, right? Now, we can't really talk about what's happened to the show or at this stage because it's going through some things. So hopefully it will come out soon. But I don't think success is, to answer your question, success was TV show. It was never that. And I think anyone who's gone through the journey I have, and you or any other person who've gone through they've started from the bottom and reached somewhere, is they've seen that normally in this journey you've got all your friends, all your family members, all the people you hang out with. You start to become successful. You start to drift away from a lot of those people because you're just too busy. You're really, really busy. Then you reach a position where you are like, okay, I feel I've achieved what I wanted to achieve, but I kind of left my relationships, my friendships, my family members somewhere in this whole journey just to get what I really wanted, because it's so hard to be one of the top real estate agents because it just consumes you. Just every single second you think about real estate and you just work and work and work. So you reach there only to find out you're pretty lonely, right? And then you start to work on, okay, I need to just take a step back, build a team, and look at other things in my life as well, right? Once you have a really strong team, you're enjoying what you do, you've achieved what you wanted, you've got a really nice support network, really good friend circle, amazing family members, and that's when you start to see what success really is. Because then nothing feels like work, nothing is a problem. You'll always have work issues, but you'll fix it. But that's what real success is, when you have time to do other things. There are so many people who are working 24/7 and everyone around them think they're very successful, but you go ask them and they'll tell you. Like, when you don't have time to do anything else, that's not really success, is it?
I totally agree. And, one fact you should never repeat now, that you're not good at camera, you're very good at camera because you're speaking.
Well, it's taken a lot of time and effort. Yeah.
You've done a lot of camera, makeup, everything. And today it's a very raw, simple, authentic Aman Gulia in front of everyone. Because it's all, you're speaking off the cuff. I must, say that you're speaking off the cuff, and that is very important. But you're connecting and speaking from your heart. And that's the biggest difference. What you said, Aman, I resonate that with you a lot. And I've asked this question to a lot of people. What is success for them? Somebody says breathing is success, which is.
Yeah.
Somebody says doing what you want to do when you want to do is success. Somebody says in terms of community, family, friends and all. What you said, what I have learned, what we all see is that everybody who wants to get on the bandwagon of earning money, success, initially, because you've done it. And people will say, now you've done it, you're talking about it. But that's the crux of this, and I would probably take your take on it, is that my understanding is that we all run very fast sometimes because we want to reach the top point. But when we reach the top point, we understand that we left a lot of things behind. Because at the end, we are human beings and we crave each other. We want to be supported and supportive. We want to be loved and loved. We want to understand and also be understood. These are basic necessities of everybody. And sometimes when we lose that strand, we run for it. Then we reach to a stage where we say, oh,
we've come too far.
There's no one with me who should I flaunt my success to.
Yeah.
I mean, I can go everywhere and flaunt, but it doesn't really matter to someone, right? It's like, we are influenced by Bollywood industry or Hollywood. If you take Tom Cruise to India, probably he wouldn't be able to walk on the street.
Yeah.
But in LA, he'll be just walking around doing nothing, right? So it's basically where you get valued. And you need to have your fans as well. Otherwise, you can only have a ceiling fan on you and just keep on playing with it. But otherwise, you need real fans. And, you said about manifestation. You said about, living and breathing it, the secrets and the power of positive thinking. One thing I want to bring it from this discussion is that for those young people, you're a young man yourself, for those people who are young or those people who are old or people who are just feeling that, I'm not able to get to some point. Where is my next point? What is success for me? What should I do? I should make 10, 20 million, 30 million, 40 million. They all want to talk about that. But today, Aman Gulia tells them that it's not about that 40 million. It's all about taking everybody together to that 40 million. So that everybody, like you just said, that 55 million guy comes and talks to you. Your mentors, people around you who you've chosen to be with, they've always guided you. So it's, again, building that sense of community. As Aman Gulia, today, as one of the top guys in the country, what would you say about, grounding and gratitude? How does Aman Gulia ground himself? How does he maintain a balance? He's learned a balance of community and success. How does Aman Gulia maintain a balance of his well-being? How does he keep, you said real estate consumes us. We go through a lot of challenges, a lot of no's, a lot of yeses. And when you start your journey, there's a lot of no's you went through till they all started becoming yeses. So what would be your grounding thing? What will be your tip for people to keep yourself grounded and keep on going? There's a Bollywood movie where the song is Restart, that which we've seen. That teaches me a lot. But what is Because we all have, and I see that value from you. So I think you tell people, the audience, that what keeps you going?
There's a couple of questions here, right? Let's start with young people trying to get into any industry or being successful, right? I think the number one thing that have helped me is mindset. Like, mindset is very important. So you have to have a positive mindset. You have to think you can achieve it. I think it's Napoleon Hill who said,
mindset.
what you can think you can achieve.
Yes.
I believe that I tried to print it out, put it wherever I can. I think that's very true. If you can think about it, start working on it, and then you can achieve it. So if you're a young person today trying to get into any business, or trying to become a real estate agent, insurance broker, mortgage advisor, anyone, I think you have to first go and speak to someone who is already doing it, right? Go speak to them, try to hang around them, try to be friends with them, see how they are doing, right? Rather than having a guessing game, you should just see firsthand.
But there's a question I have. I'm like the young boy, and I'm asking you, Aman, but all these people might think that I'm just sticking along with them. I've got no value, I have nothing, and they might just drop me off. What will I do? I have my ego. What is ego's role in this whole thing?
Again, you have to meet someone really yes, you become a little bit successful, you drive a supercar, you buy a nice house, you become a top agent, ego comes. Like, that just happens. To be really honest, ego comes way before that. In this sort of industry, you sell 5 houses, the ego comes. But yes, that's just the industry.
But as a young person, you said,
I think you just have to add value, right? If you're a young person, you shouldn't have any ego. Like, ego, you will not be successful if you're egoistic. People don't like egoistic people. If you're a young person trying to succeed, you have to go to the person who is already doing it, add value to them. How can you add value to them, right? Normally, you could do tasks for them, but I doubt if you asked 5 people, everyone will say no. I doubt that will happen.
And how do you get in that? How do you get into the right person? Because I am just a graduate, and I've just done uni, I've done my business course, and I want to hang around with Aman Gulia. How do I do that?
You give me a call, send me a text, send me an email, Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn, YouTube, just anything.
And
you send me, and I'll do a coffee with you.
You'll do a coffee.
Anyone.
And then if I say that, Aman, I want to be around you, would you not think that, why this guy sticking along all the time?
See, I think I would give pointers of things you can do, right? Like, for example, if someone was to come and start in real estate, obviously I don't have time to teach them how to do it, because then I would say to them, hey, you do this, you get your real estate course, you go work with someone in a team, without a team somewhere, enough experience. If you want to be around me, join my office, right? Once you join my office, you have mentors like Dave, who is my franchise owner. They will teach you. We've got other agents. You'll see me. I'm the first one in the office, last one to leave. So you will see what I do. I'm on the phone. That should motivate you. If I am spending more time in office making calls than you, then you're doing something wrong, right? So basically, you be in that environment. That's the most important thing. Once you add value. Where can you help me, right? Or help someone else, right? You help them. Once they see it, then you get in return.
So basically, feel the do the feel kind of scenario. And you're right, Aman, in my experience as well, when you add value, it's all, as a human being, it's what's in for me. Right?
100%.
As long as you can satisfy that for the person, you stand a ground, everything else can drop. And, real estate or any of these industries, put that pressure. That leads to my next question. It's a bit controversial as well. Real estate is linked to top cars, top houses, top everything, right? The way you dress, the way you look, what you wear, the brands, everything, the bling, right? Do you think is bling, it is the bling which is the only thing which attracts customers and gets listings?
Bling actually takes customers away from you, seriously. But as it's some people just like it, right? Like I've always loved cars. Before I even got into real estate, I had a nice car, right? So it's just a thing of mine. But I'm still very careful of showing that off on social media because I don't want to give the wrong impression to people, right? Because sometimes you're dealing with people's biggest asset, right? Not sometimes, most of the times, you're dealing with the biggest assets, right? And I think when you're too showy and just doing it for the sake of doing it, it's wrong, right? If someone's really, really interested in suits and they want to spend money, all money on suits, that's just who they are. Someone likes art, some like houses, some like cars. My suggestion would be, if you're in real estate, the first money you should be spending is in a house, because that's just your field, right? So buy a nice house, buy an investment, do a development yourself. When you go through that experience yourself, you learn a bit more, right? There are real estate agents who are selling development properties. They've never developed a property. They've never done a subdivision. They don't know what the process is, what 2 to 4 is, right? If there's no stormwater, what do you do? And when you don't know that, and you're selling a property, a buyer could come to you and say, hey, look, there's no stormwater. I'm going to pay you $100,000 less. Now, as an agent, you will relay that message to your vendor. Hey, this buyer is only going to pay he's going to pay 100K less because there's no stormwater. But if you had the knowledge yourself, you could just answer that rather than trying to get your vendor down on price. You'll give solution to the buyer, right? So that's I think just knowing your craft, basically being master of your craft.
Yeah, no wonder you are the number one, lister in the country. That's why, because you look after your vendors.
Oh,
if you do so. Also, Aman, in real estate, there's also a thing when you, as a human being, as you said, it sometimes repels people if you're too big. Is Aman Gulia too big? Aman Gulia is an agent who is happy to deal with any vendor who wants to sell or buyer.
See, I do lose listing on the fact that I'm too busy, right? But it's really easy to assume that, right? And the real answer to that is, if you give me a call and I don't answer, or if you send me a text and I don't reply, then maybe I'm too busy. But I always reply to text messages. I get messages on Messenger, Instagram, WhatsApp, LinkedIn. I've got the Google displays, and then I've got my text messages and obviously phone calls and emails, right? I reply to all of them. And that's just how I am. Some people are just addicted to their phones, and I have made a conscious effort to be not addicted to my phone, but still reply to everyone.
Perfect. So basically, I can say confidently that if you're looking to basically contact an agent and you think it's too big, no, don't assume. Assumption kills. Just go ask, text, and everybody in their own job, in their business, are there to help you. Your assumptions would stop you to get the best price. So don't, assume and go away from best price.
Definitely.
Right? Go.
Yeah.
So in terms of yourself, you run marketing campaigns, marketing strategies. What will be your advice to the newer, generation of, real estate agents or people in our industry, let's say mortgage brokers or anyone, because marketing is a key skill today. And real estate also says sales and marketing agent.
Yeah.
So what's your top, what are your top 3 tips you'll give to people for marketing?
I think be seen. You can't sell a secret, right?
Yeah.
So you have to be everywhere. You can't be putting a digital ad that says get a free appraisal and then sit and just wait for someone to get an appraisal from you. It doesn't work, right? Because every second agent everyone's doing it, right? So I think for me, you have to be seen. So you have to be billboards. You have to be all social media, TikTok, Instagram, Facebook, everywhere, YouTube. Run your ads. You have to speak to the network, the mortgage broker, insurance advisor, accountants, lawyers, and create that network around you. And anything that you can think. If you came to me and said, hey, there's this marketing method, do you want to give it a go? I will. I will give anything a go in terms of marketing, because I don't know how it will end up, but I'm going to try it, right? So be seen. You have to understand that when someone Googles you, what do they see? You can control it, right? Most agents, you will Google them and you can't see anything apart from their page, which is on the company's website, right? And my question to the vendors are, if an agent can't market themselves, how can they market your property?
Absolutely.
Right? So as a new agent, understand that, build that. What are people saying? Then you have to understand that when a person is, once you've marketed yourself everywhere, you'll start to get lead,
and you're
right?
trying, yes.
Right. But you have to add value to the clients through social media. We're doing this interview for adding value to other people,
exactly.
right? You have to provide that content. Today we are in the content game.
Yes.
And like, you're far ahead of me when it comes to content, because you're pushing out content every week. And that's awesome, because that tells, you're giving information to the people for free, right? And that's where the world is heading towards at the moment, right? Everything is content. We consume so much content every day through our phones. We use our phones so much. So you have to put the content out everywhere, right? That's marketing again, right? So once you've been everywhere, once you've put all the value content for other people to see, they will contact you, right? So you've got the marketing everywhere, billboards.
Be seen, try, get contacted.
Yeah, and then once you have obviously marketed it yourself, added value content, and then you've got the leads, then your success needs to be seen by everyone.
Then you have to reach out to the customer and then make that customer successful. It could be a vendor, or it could be a buyer, and that's a very key skill. You know what Aman has just told, be seen. And you know, when I heard about Aman Gulia, right? Initially I heard somebody sent me an email with 100 listings. Aman Gulia. I said, who is this guy? I want to see him. I quickly went on and searched, because this is what you did. You proved to the market by doing it. You are seen, you market, and us as mortgage brokers and us, we're very similar, sales and marketing. We are going out there giving content to people. We want people to use our services because we know that we provide them the best, and we are the best, right? Now, in terms of keeping yourself fit, what is your take on the connection between wealth and well-being? Do you think it is wealth only thing? Because you are very fit, you look very smart. How do you keep a balance between your physical fitness, your emotional well-being, overall well-being?
See, I'll just use my example, right? So basically, I perform well when I'm doing a physical activity, right? When I was working so much that it just consumed me, I was also eating very unhealthy.
Same.
Right? And it was just not good for me. No, it wasn't good for business. I was heading towards a path mentally that at some point I was going to reach a breaking point, right?
Drains you.
And it's very easy to do it, because you want to do all the deals, you want to make all the money, you want to get the best results for your clients, and you want to win all the awards. So every minute and every second, you just want to spend doing that, right? And when you're getting a little bit of success, you just do it more and more and more and more, and it becomes a motivating factor, right? When I was doing that, I lost that gym. I've always been a guy who goes to the gym and I forget about everything else, right? And it's amazing now understanding that when you don't have anything going for you and you do that, it's not a big deal. But when you start to see things working for you, you start to cherish that. I lost it. So I would go gym, I wouldn't want to exercise because I'm trying to text message, still on phone and gym. And over the last year and a half, 2 years, I've started to learn that again, where I enjoy a gym and I can switch off my phone or just play music and exercise. To get into that habit, I actually went to Bali for 4 weeks, and all I did was health and wellness. So I was training twice a day, 6 times a week, right? And that got me into the habit in December, January, and then I've continued it, right? So what that does is, when you go gym in the morning, you just feel so fresh, you feel so energetic. It's weird in a way that you're actually doing physical stuff and it makes you more energetic, right? And then you can go through your day and you're not tired at all. When I don't exercise, I feel more tired.
Exactly.
I don't know the science behind it, but it's
basically, when you exercise of any sort, you actually release your toxins. Because you release a hormone called endorphins. There's endorphins which you release when you do push-ups or heavy lifting. That basically helps you get more energized. And that's what you do. So creating the right balance is very, very important. And that's what makes you grounded. By going to the gym and keeping time for yourself, downtime is very important.
Yeah.
Last question. Auckland market, New Zealand market. Coming back to your, off the cuff, easy speaking. Real estate in New Zealand, real estate in Auckland, where is it now? And where do you see real estate in the next 6 to 12 months and next 5 years?
See, I don't have the crystal ball. If I did, I would be a lot more richer, right? Overall speakingly, hopefully the interest rate will drop, which you can give us insight on.
Probably by November, February, yes. Yeah.
If that happens, obviously, then we will be more people will be able to get properties. There'll be more demand, supply and demand. If more demand, supply is less, the prices will go up. But just generic, 5, 6, 10 years, it's a beautiful country, right? Everyone talks about property, everyone knows property, everyone wants to invest in property. So we will always see it appreciate in long run,
exactly.
Right? I feel we are very lucky to be in a country like this, and everyone saw that during COVID. So it's still a beautiful place to live. I think it will always appreciate long term. You would always see cycle coming up and down, but I think the future is bright.
It is. The future is bright, and Aman, you rightly said that we live in a beautiful country. We are blessed. We get 4 weathers, we get everything, and we get 5 minutes away, we see the top views as well. Right, so we're blessed, we're happy. Overall, talking to Aman, I really found out that another human being who came with a lot of will to do things, met with failures, then only learned never to give up and keep trying, wake up every day and keep trying, restart. If you failed that night, let that night be your past, because your present is your start again. And that's what Aman Gulia, the phenomenon we started talking about, did that by doing the basics right, by talking to people, meeting people, going to the successful people and asking them for tips, getting the right mentor and understanding everything. And it's not bad to have some choices. And the choices you make are your choices. Own them. Keep your downtime. Go to a gym and keep working. Keep being seen. These are all the tips, in short, Aman, which Aman said in today's interview. And probably, Aman, I would want to go throughout the whole day asking questions. But I want to do series with you, questions with you, because it's very important to get a person who's grounded. And one more thing, it's Aman Gulia or me or anyone who you think it's difficult to approach. It's not. It's the most easiest to approach by a text message, by social media, by a phone call, because all we do in our business is look after you. And that's what our job is. So thank you, Aman, the phenomena, covering all this.
Thank you for having me.
Limit to limitless, and making people. I hope people will become limitless after listening to you.
Definitely, if we can inspire some.
They will be. I'm inspired. I think you all will be. Thank you, Aman.
Thank you.
Thank you.